It's on the table.
Here it is. Okay, awesome.
It's on there. You get it.
Okay, great. No, has anyone here been to laughter yoga?
No.
You once. Okay, I'm just curious. Feels like laughter yoga already. Okay, so take a peek at this and take a look and see which side you spend more time on. Okay, get a sense of that. So raise your hand if you spend more time over here. Over? So raise your hand if you spend more time over here. Ooh. And you're like in the middle. Okay, okay, great. Awesome sauce. Ooh, do you want to find a different way to do that? Because that's that's not sustainable. I can't hold that for an hour. Oh shoot. Well, when you get tired, just don't worry about it. Okay. She's tough as nails. She reminds me of you. We'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah. Okay, so there are three levels of this care, three seasons. There's the season of discover, there's the season of transform, which this talk is about, and then there's the season of awaken, okay? And we'll be talking mostly about transform, but the season of discover is about keeping things constant, right? Because you don't have enough energy to explore new lands. Hi, welcome. Hey. Oh, you made it. Yay. Grab any seat that tickles your fancy.
All right.
So, if you're here tonight, you're here because you were invited, okay? And you were invited because you have enough strategies in your nervous system that you're either in transform or you're getting close. And I only do these every 3 months or so I wanted you to have that, okay? So, the strategies that are in the season of discover that you've achieved or you're close to achieving are the following. The first one is discovery. How many people, since being in this care, have discovered something about themselves? Yes? Yes? Anybody want to share something you've discovered? Yes?
I can direct stuff in my body where it goes.
So you have much more awareness of energy flow in your body, and
Yes.
you can actually move
Yes.
that in a way that supports you.
Correct.
That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. Anybody else discover anything? Yes.
I can use the restroom on a regular basis instead of every week or two.
Yeah. So you've discovered regularity in your bowels and more
Yeah.
function in your bowels. What is that worth?
It's a lot.
It's a lot, right? Because if our bowels are not moving the garbage out, that means the garbage is staying in longer, which creates cancer and other problems, right? Anybody else discover anything cool they want to share? Yes.
That my physical structure was way out of alignment. Going into alignment really makes a huge difference.
Oh, it's everything.
Yeah.
If your car is out of alignment, do you want to drive it? No. And if you do, you wear everything out
Yeah.
quicker. It's no different in your body, okay? For sure. So, speaking of body, who has more body awareness since starting this care? That's awesome, right? Without that, you will get sick. Tell me why. Mary? Not to put you on the spot.
You do really dumb things to your body, you really hurt.
Yes. If you don't know, if you're disconnected, right, then you say, I can go play football. I feel fine. My ankle's hanging off by a thread because I just took 40 pills, right? That's dangerous, right? And often when we go to the medical doctors, they disconnect us from our bodies more. But the pain went away, Dr. Joanne, I'm happy. Oh, are you? Right? Why does it keep coming back? Oh, it only lasted this time, whatever they did. And now it lasts this amount. Now it doesn't work at all. I don't understand. Oh, look, you got the baby. It's so cute. So every illness is connected to a lack of body awareness. Every single one. And addiction. Okay, so who here has felt the breath wave move all the way up their spine from the bottom to the top? Raise your hands if you felt that. Awesome sauce. You haven't felt that yet? We gotta work on that. Okay. Yes.
Bless you.
God bless you, Mary. So cute. Some of the kids call her Blue Baby, which is really adorable. Okay, and when you're in Discover, the strategy that happens, the last one is you feel more connected and therefore you can release and reorganize tension. Has anyone felt when you weren't here that all of a sudden you were aware, oh, I'm holding my shoulders like this? That's awesome, you got connected and you reorganized, which is fabulous, okay? Awesome stuff. And the last one is safety, okay? Most people who come here are in fight or flight. When you're in fight or flight, there is no safety in your physiology. And you will do whatever you can to get away from that, okay? Whether it's addictions or working all the time or staying busy because there's an internal and it feels terrible, right? Then we get you to move from fight or flight into the parasympathetic and it's like, oh, my mind doesn't race all the time now, right? Or I have clarity in my mind, the brain fog is gone. So that's awesome, right? So you guys have moved from defense into safety, and now we go from safety into growth, okay? Because ships are safe in the harbor, and that is not what ships are for, okay? And you weren't here to be safe. You were here to explore, you were here to contribute, you were here to grow, right? But if you're trying to keep everything the same and stay safe, that's not gonna work, okay? You can only do that so long. So, a year from starting care, you will be a totally, totally different you, okay? Somebody tell me why. Why would that be? Go ahead.
Because our nervous system is tied to everything, our quality of life, the places we make decisions from, levels of, pain, changing, sleep.
You're right, it's tied to everything. So when you up-level your nervous system, you up-level your life, okay? And things will definitely reorganize. And it's sort of like Discover is this, right? The little worm, right? And transformation is when things really start to go crazy. Now in transformation, in the worm to the butterfly, they go into the pupae state, right? In the pupae state, they actually become imaginal cells, right? And in that state, they totally dissolve, the worm totally dissolves, and then it comes back as a butterfly. Best example of transformation. And I think it's so cool that they're imaginal cells because they're gonna imagine what they're gonna be. That's how I remember it. And then of course we have the butterfly. And how long do butterflies live? Anybody know? Pretty brief, right? Could be weeks, could be days. And what do butterflies do?
They fly.
They fly. Where do they fly to?
Wherever they
So,
want.
the south.
No, those are birds. I don't think butterflies do. I don't think they live long enough. They go from flower to flower, giving their gift and sharing, right? Which is what Awaken is all about, right? But in Transform, it's about letting go of that which no longer serves. I'm not supposed to be a worm anymore. I'm not supposed to be small. I'm supposed to fly, okay? So we'll be talking more about that. So, symptoms, I'm missing a little word there. Symptoms, so are symptoms good or bad? They're good. Boy, are they good, Rainbow?
Because they tell you, they alert you that something.
They give you information if you're connected, right? Are they uncomfortable? Yeah, they can be very uncomfortable. But so is dying, right? I know people who say, well, I knew this person, they were so healthy, they had a heart attack and they died. And I'm like, those words don't compute. If you're totally healthy, you don't just drop dead of a heart attack. Right? They were so disconnected, they didn't know they had a problem. And they might have had perfect labs, but there's more to life than perfect labs, right? Your spine could be a total wreck and you could have perfect labs, right? That's not good, right? So what does this even say? We just did this today, so bear with me. Emotions create subtle changes in the environment, helping you become more aware, not only of what's going on in your environment, but for others as well. So has anybody heard the story about the tsunami? In a tsunami, the animals all knew it was coming, and they all went to higher ground. All of them. And the other animals, the ones with the big head, us, didn't know. We had all the fancy equipment, all the crap, and we were like, wait, blah, blah, blah. Why do you think that is? They're connected. Yes, they're connected. And when you're connected, you can feel subtle things which you may not understand, right? When I work with you, I don't And I am done questioning it. I am done questioning. I questioned it for so many years, and you know what that did? Gave me a freaking headache. And it made life harder. Harder and harder. Because the answers are all there. I'm an external, the answers are all there if I pay attention. Okay? And if you're internal, the answers are where? Anybody know?
In their body.
Inside. They're inside. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We'll talk more about that. Okay, so the symptom is there to tell you you are greater than you have been expressing so far. Anybody guilty of not expressing their full potential? All of us. All of us. And if you do that enough and you do it long enough, your body is going to scream at you. Okay? Now you can go to the doctors, they have headaches. Okay, those of you, whatever, ibuprofen, or say your magnesium is low. But if you're playing small and you're meant to be showing up differently, your body will continue to have the headache. Okay? And if it goes away and you don't change anything, you know what happens? It's going to come back somewhere else. Is that it? That symptom is there to wake you up. So you came in and said, Dr. Joanne, you fix me, right? I was like, hell no. Hell no. Because if I take away the pain, and I don't even know how to do that. I know some chiropractors, that's their gig, and they do that. I don't even know how, nor am I interested, okay? My interest is lining you up so you get the message, right? That's why I told you, you may hear the signal louder, right? But that, if I take away the pain, right, with an aspirin or a surgery, I chop off your head, I rob you of the information, and I keep you small, and that is not why I'm here. I have no interest in that. I have interest in each of you finding your gift, why you're here, and expressing your greatest potential, right? So I had the great privilege of taking care of your nephew. How old is he?
He's 5.
He's 5. He's so cute.
And he's had
An atrocious 5 years. Without going into detail, it's been atrocious, right? But as you were sitting there, and you were sitting there waiting for a table, I was thinking, I wish I had seen you both when you were 5. Because life would be so different for you now. Now, how old are you?
I'm 32.
32, and you're 20?
28.
20, pretty close. So, some of these people in this room, I wish they had come when they were 23 and 28, right? Because the sooner you start, the sooner you can unwind the patterns that are keeping you not optimizing. Does that make sense? And it's never too late. My oldest patient started at, I think, 97. You can always optimize if you're willing, you know, to step up. Okay, let's scoot up for now. So what do you see here? What do you notice?
On the left, she's leaning forward
And what do we say about when people lean forward? What does that mean?
towards the grave.
Yes, it starts that early. That's crazy. That is a nervous system that is so sick. Okay, so take a look at that. Read that.
Blueberry.
So that's a wow, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a wow, wow. So everybody, get up and just move your body a little bit. Make some noise. Leah, what word should we say? What's a good word we could? Iterate. Okay. Yes, that one too. And what does that mean? You want to translate? He's like, okay, awesome sauce. All right. So there is something called a triad of change. Anybody here want to make change in their life? Yeah. Right? Anybody here want to change somebody else?
No.
This will not help you. Nothing will help you because it ain't your job. Right?
Right.
The best way to change someone, there is one way you can change someone. Anybody have an idea what that would be?
Change yourself. Better self.
That's right. Be an example. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Be an example. So, if I come in to work with you guys and I'm like this, shitty day, do you want me to put my hands on you?
No.
Hell no, because my energy state will drag you down. Even if you don't see it, you're face down. And I come over and I'll say a word. I will not touch you. I will just go home and say, Diane, you do it. I'm serious, because that is not gonna work, okay? So if somebody is struggling in your family, right? You don't go in the drama with them, because their drama doesn't have to be your trauma, or whatever that little saying is. You go in a higher state, right? Just bring it up, even if it's just a little bit, and don't say a word. Just raise your state, right? And if you are, how many people here know their epi-way? Epi-way is whether you're internal or external. You do? Yeah? Right, raise your hand if you're external and you know it. You're-
still learning it.
You're still learning,
So I'm
yes.
still a little confused on
Yeah, still a little confused, that's okay. And I know we just discussed this, and so you're not sure. Now, are you surprised that most everybody's external in this room? I'm
Can you be more than one?
no,
Can you be both? You're
Nope.
either or. Okay.
one or the other. So, this work is pretty far out there, anybody knows that? Externals love that crap. Internals are like, internals like, they like, we're gonna take a step, and then we'll take another step. Externals are like, screw the steps, we just wanna go to Mars, okay? Now what's interesting is the man who founded this, Dr. Donald Epstein, he's an internal, which is really funny. So they do exist. But the thing about this is that if you are external and you're a living internal, which means you observe from the inside and you take it cautious and you take steps and you focus on the past, all things that an internal would love, but an external actually breaks down. An external, actually the thoughts become toxic, life is totally difficult, and literally the body will break down if you do that long enough, okay? Now some of us are addicted to going opposite our epi way. And when you do that, right, you're not doing it consciously, no one would consciously do that, but when you do that, you don't shine. Do I shine?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right? I don't need you to tell me that, I know that. But I spent a great deal of my life not wanting to shine because then I would not be fitting in, right? People who shine do not fit in. I don't fit in anywhere, right, Diane? No. And I'm fine with that, but for a long time I wasn't fine with that. And unconsciously I played small, and one way to go small is to go opposite your triad, which we'll talk about, or opposite your epi way. Okay, now I've been teaching some of you, okay, you find pain, you feel like low energy, just go external. Just raise your hands, raise your eyes, and just put your observer way out there. How many of you find that when you do that you have an immediate source of energy? Yeah, right? So you do it long enough, and it's not something you have to even think about, okay? Now, when I'm most stressed, with my teenagers, without thinking about it, I go back internal sometimes, and I lose all of the ease. And so I can feel the difference now, but for a long time I didn't feel it, because you know, when you're doing something that's not working, it becomes, well, that's how I am, right? Does that make sense? Do you have any questions about that?
What's the practice again? I'm not
Yeah.
doing it, but you just.
So your observer, we can either observe like the camera coming from out here in, or we can observe from here out. So you're observing from out here, and when you put the hands out, your kind of your awareness follows your hands. So they're facing out, and if you lift your eyes up, it's the same thing, right? So if you find you're having a crappy day, just stop and notice, oh, look at that, my eyes are down, my head is down, my energy is focused in here. And then so, whoop, that's not working. So just try the opposite. Does that make sense? Thank you for saying yes. Remember, you had, you had 5 days.
Yeah.
You will have more.
Thank you.
Okay? Ciao, ciao. Awesome sauce.
Okay, so,
Yes.
because I'm a pharmacist, they tape us all day long in the pharmacy.
They tape you?
Yeah.
Oh!
So,
God, a lot of trust
I
there.
actually it works because I had a tech that was stealing Oxycontin.
Oh.
So we were taping, and I had to go
Hi.
watch myself on video
Okay.
because we had to go. So I had to go in. Anyways, I watched and it's the very first time I've ever really seen myself working and on video. And I looked down. When I was looking at myself, my mind's always going. But when you look, I was like, man, I look so quiet and I look so peaceful. But I knew that my mind was thinking. So that's how I'm doing that external, because I'm having a hard time when you say go external. So I just visualize myself looking at myself.
You could do
doing
that.
the job.
Yeah, you can visualize yourself on the ceiling, observe yourself doing the job from there. And if you can't do this, because they'd be like, what the hell is she doing? You can just imagine you're doing it, or do what you just said. That's fine.
Yeah, that's what,
That's
and
fine.
then I feel my jaw goes down.
It just relaxes.
Yeah,
oh,
that
yeah.
one.
Like, oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can also just lift your eyes up if you can. Like, hi, honey, I know you external too?
Yeah, go. Okay, let me play. Let me put you outside.
I know. Just give me a minute. Just want to get the baby. Okay? Come on, baby.
You hungry?
And life goes on.
Yeah.
They are in charge.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
It's the best children to have.
Exactly, as long as you listen to her.
You coming? Alright. Okay, so thank you for that. Alright, so let's see, this is see what this says. Yes, okay. So in the season of Discover, the circumstance is seen as a problem. No matter what it is. You win $1 million, it's a problem. What if I lose it? I don't know how to invest it. Oh, blah, blah, blah. It's funny, right? But have you seen this in yourself? I've seen it. Oh my God. It transformed. Whatever the circumstance, it's an opportunity. Right? I was robbed. I turned it into opportunity. I upgraded all my computers. I got a better pregnancy pillow. And guess what? Insurance paid for all of it. Right? I didn't miss one beat. You know? I did get a new alarm system. I really don't like that, but
I know.
I'll turn that into some gift somehow, right?
Yeah.
But that is, and it's not just in my head, because we know this is something positive. When you have a nervous system that's flexible, you can do that. When you have a nervous system like this, everything's a problem. Everything. And it's not fun, right? It's not fun. And then in Awaken, it becomes a gift, right? Same circumstance. Somehow you see, wow, I see all the threads that circumstance actually is a gift. Now, the clearer your nervous system, the quicker you're able to do that. How many people here have had a really bad experience and now in retrospect they see it as a gift? Yeah, a lot of people, right? What if we could see it as a gift from the moment it happened? Wouldn't that be amazing? I'm not saying you wouldn't be sad, not saying you might not be mad, but you are aware that there is a weaver and everything happens for a reason and there's a connection and somehow that's going to land, right? So, and you can have that in your nervous system, right? I'm already doing some Awaken with your nephew, even though he's that little, so he can begin to see some gifts in this very difficult situation. At least have that in his nervous system. Okay, awesome. Do you see any difference in her structure? Okay, let's have you guys stand up again because she's been sitting for a little while. So the young woman who just left has had a lot of pain and problems. She just told me that this is the first time she's had 5 days of her body feeling good. And today it doesn't feel good. But 5 days of feeling good when you never have felt good in your whole life?
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle. But what are we going to focus on? Are we going to focus on now I feel shitty again or the fact that I had 5 days? It depends on what season you're in. Yeah, yeah. Okay, raise your hands if you're an external. Take a deep breath, look up. Oh, move your hips. Say hello, hips. Oh, good. Awesome. Okay, you can go back down there. Awesome. She's making the rounds, huh?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, good. Okay, that's a little tough. Okay, so the difference between the season of Discover and Transform looks very different with our behaviors. We'll have very different behaviors. So in Discover, we'll run away from what we don't like, right? We don't like pain. I'm going to do whatever I can to get away from pain. But what is the goal? What will you replace the pain with, right? What will you replace it with? What would be on the other side? So if you would replace it with a lot more swimming, well, then you will do everything possible so you can swim more, which could be very different than I'm getting out of pain, right? You could just stop moving. Okay, when I don't move, I'm in less pain. Is that going to get you to the goal of swimming more? No, right? So when you move away from what you don't want, it does not necessarily take you to what you want. We're in a trance that it does. Take these medications, the pain will go away and you get what you want. I always ask people, what would be different if X, Y, Z went away? You know what they tell me? Oh, I'd play with my kid. Oh, I'd be happier. Oh, I'd sleep better. That has nothing to do with that. If you just fight that, you're not going to get to those things. Does that make sense? Awesome. So when you're in Discover, your higher brain is cut off, right? You're in fight or flight, and you are not using the higher brain, okay? The lower brain just does what you did last time, because it figures you're alive, therefore it worked, right? And there's some certain logic to that, because if you're in fight or flight, you can't be thinking, is this my best choice? Well, maybe they had that day. It doesn't work that way, right? You have to make second decisions on things like, everything? Isn't it great to have our higher brain engaged and say, is that my best choice? Now when we're in transform, we move towards what we want, the higher brain is engaged more. Does anybody notice that they have more space between the event and our response? Yes, that's awesome, because it's that space that allows us to say, maybe I don't want to do that again. It didn't work well last time. And a lot of times we know that, but in the moment, it doesn't matter, because there's no space. Yes?
Yeah, it's like making better decisions. But I find I'm more present to making better decisions, like more naturally.
Because you're not in fight or flight. You were in extreme fight or flight. There is no decision. It's just deer in the headlights. So that's awesome. So when you get this care, your body is so much more efficient with everything, right? If you use your epi way and you stay external or internal, it'll be even more efficient, okay? There was a study done on people in network care, and they had them move their ankle, and they did that before an entrainment and after an entrainment. And the MRI showed, fMRI, it's a functional MRI, showed that they were 30 times more efficient. Right? That's a very simple motion. I know, I love you too. I love you too. You want to talk to people. Who wants to hold the blueberry? And he's like, so you said hi over here. Thank you, love. So, if you're using a lot of energy to do simple motions, then that energy is not available for healing, for serving, for growing, right? So every time you come in here, your nervous system works more efficiently, and then all of that allows you to access other places. So behaviors are different in the season of discover and the season of transform, and so are our perceptions. What we focus on and how we perceive things all change. So at transform, we go towards the desired outcome, right? So you got here, even though you had to bring your nephew here and have somebody come to pick him up. That's what transform is. Whatever it takes, right? Whatever it takes, I will be here. Okay, that's the sense. There's courage, there's passion versus fear. Do we do very much when we're in fear? Heck no, right? Anybody know the origin of the word courage? It's from coraje, heart, right? It doesn't mean it feels like easy, but it means you go with your heart. So the structures change in Discover and Transform, right? The way you walk changes. This is Discover walk, right? This Transform walk. Don't get in my way, right? And this is an Awaken walk. All changes. And you're not thinking about it. It just happens organically, okay? Your relationships change. Anybody in a relationship that has changed since they've been in care? You've changed. Yours has changed? Yeah, awesome. Right? And you're in care with your partner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big
that's
deal.
magic.
Yeah.
That's totally magic.
Pure
And you guys
magic.
are in care together. You haven't been that long in my care. And we're trying. Men are difficult. You didn't hear me say that. Your finances change. You have access to more energy. Dollars are just energy, right? And you have a new relationship with stability and instability. So raise your hand if you like instability. I saw you raise your hand. She was stretching. Raise your hand if you like instability.
No.
She says no.
No.
You say, are you raising your hand or are you
Yeah.
saying yes? Okay. And everybody else is not, they're not saying. Okay. So, anybody ride bicycles? Yeah. So bicycles are very unstable. That's why they're so fun. They really are fun, and they're able to move and do things that like a quad can't do, right? Quad's very stable, right? You can flip them, but you gotta work pretty hard to flip them. You can flip a bicycle like that, okay? Instability allows for flexibility. Instability, all change and all growth comes from instability. Did anybody ever learn anything by doing the same thing over and over again? No. No, it doesn't work, right? So, but we've been taught culturally, and we've been taught if our nervous system is in fight or flight, that change is bad and change is scary, right? So, but is that really true? Right? How many of you have had got married and really enjoyed it, or moved in with a lover, right? That's a good thing. That's total. Is that instability? Heck yeah. It wasn't instability. What was it? Instability in the beginning. And how many of you have pets who are very annoying? I love you. Here.
Opportunity.
Place. There you go. Place. I love you. We should have brought Lola. Lola likes our dog. She's just bored. What are these people talking? So we have a little fellow who comes in. He's 5 or 6, and when he first started coming here, he didn't say a word, not one word. And Blueberry likes some of the kids, and Blueberry does not like some of the kids. The ones that speak, she likes less. This kid comes in and she lights up. Why do you think that is?
They understand each other.
Yeah, he's not in his head. He's a very emotional being, right? She feels that. He walks in the room and she's like, oh, I love him, you know? So, and this kid has been in care about 3.5 months, and today in the entrainment room, he said, I love you. When he left, he said, thank you. He came up behind me, gave me a hug, and it's just amazing to see the changes. It's just amazing. His parents are not in care, so it's a lot slower than I would like, but it is still amazing to see.
My grandma would say paw.
I know, I saw that. That's a word he doesn't even say. And we were giving the dog a treat, and he said, paw. He had it perfect. I'm hearing more and more words. It's really, really inspiring. So, I don't know where we ended up there, but it's probably her fault. So, one of the ways we get stick is by trying to create stability when we're really supposed to go into instability, right? Or at least not run away from it, okay? So, next week or so, we're gonna have a new doctor come and work with us. Do you think that might create some instability?
Of course.
But how can I grow without another doctor? Can't happen, right? So I'm afraid it's gonna be messy, because maybe people won't like her, blah, 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 blah. I can't grow. It's the same in any way, right? You're in a new relationship. I'm guessing that was scary, like, you can't grow if you're not willing to take those steps. Now, if you're in fight or flight, and you're in fear, are you gonna wanna take any steps? And rightly so, because your body says, I don't have enough energy to deal with this moment, and you wanna add more. What, are you crazy? So you get under care, right? You get under care, you have more energy, more resources, you're more connected. Does that make sense? Okay, what's her structure saying? Oh boy, right? And that led to some very serious health consequences and breakdown. So when you're in transform, also known as level 2, your circumstances don't determine your energy state. You determine your energy state and you bring it to the circumstances, okay? So the day that we got robbed, I came in here and I was like, oh boy, no computers. Ooh, okay, how will we work? I don't know, but I got these. But so that was a circumstance. That was not an easy circumstance, right? And I had to decide what energy I was gonna bring to that. Was I gonna focus on the 50 people coming today, or was I gonna focus on poor me? I got robbed. Or I gotta find these computers and I gotta, right? Now I happen to have an amazing husband and he did it all. He might have been discovered, but I wasn't.
You were just fine.
Honey! It's not working anymore. Anyway, but this is something that took me really a long time to actually live. And it's something I actually say every day to remind me, because our culture doesn't say this. Our culture says, you're gonna just, whatever happens, if it's bad, you're gonna be in a bad mood and blah, 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 right? And our culture also teaches us, what are we supposed to do to feel better? What does our culture teach us? Think about what you do to be better.
To dwell on the problem.
You certainly need to obsess about the problem. And how well does that work? Does that help? Not so much.
Yeah, or you ignore it.
Or you ignore it. Or you go shopping. Or
Or
in my
you
case, you eat chocolate.
Yes.
Right?
Chocolate solves all
All
problems.
problems. Until it doesn't. Excuse me, but the thing is, culturally, we're taught that, right? You know, if you don't feel good, you know, this product will make you feel better, and if this product will make you find the perfect whatever. So culturally, we're taught that story, right? But it doesn't work. And if it works for 5 minutes, and then you need 10 more of whatever it was, right? So this is what your spine looks like when you're in fight or flight. Your head goes forward, you lose the curve in your neck, and the research shows that people in that state die earlier. So leaning forward, leaning towards the grave, that is not an exaggeration, okay? Leaning to the side is much better. Okay, so this was some research done on people who had depression, okay? And there were 3 groups. They were split into 3 groups. The first group got a placebo, okay? The second group got medication. And then the third group had to look in the mirror and grin. And they had to stand with their shoulders back and head up. And they had to stand tall and breathe. Take deep breaths, okay? So the study took place over 90 days. Which group do you think did the best?
3.
It's obvious, isn't it? But why?
They're in alignment.
They're in alignment. Yes, part of it. What else?
Thinking positively.
Yeah.
They made a change that it seemed like an external change, but internally they were creating they
were doing everything.
Everything.
So looking in the mirror and grin is perception. So they changed their perception. They stood like this. They changed their structure, right? And they put their head up. If they're external, that's really going to work for them. And they took breaths. They did a behavior, right? Anytime you take a deep breath, things are going to be better, right? And they also made a decision to do something. If I go to the doctor and he gives me the medication, this is a very passive relationship, right? He's the magic genie and I'm just going to do what he says, right? So he's the hero and I'm the victim, and there we go, right? There's no energy in that, okay? I am not your hero or heroess, okay? I'm here to usher you to your greatness, and I just do that by reminding you. So for some of you, I remind you, go external, because every time you go internal, the energy drops, okay? And your thoughts get crappy. Okay, so we talked about that. Awesome sauce. How many symptoms does a corpse show?
That's a corpse.
0.
0. So next time you have a symptom, think about that, okay? Because it's just a sign that you're alive and your body is giving you information, okay? So how many times do we have a symptom and we ignore it, right? Or we deny it, or we do whatever we can to beat the hell out of it, whether it's drugs or surgery or what have you, right? So if a pilot ignored her signals, would you be happy?
No.
We're going down. Oh, that's okay. I'll take an apple. You laugh, but that's what you do in your body every day. Okay, and this is the ship that takes us everywhere. This is our airplane, right? You need to pay attention. So this was a quote by Dr. Donald Epstein. I hope your pain doesn't go away 1 second before it's time. All pain requires you to investigate your life, investigate your energy sources, okay? It's there to wake you up, okay? Now, if you listen, then you can have pains that are smaller and smaller, okay? I still get pain, whether it's physical or emotional, but wow, nowhere like I used to get to reorient me, right? If I'm off track, ooh, okay. I ask, what do you need? Oh, that's right. And I ask and I listen. So, symptoms mean you need a new source of energy, right? So one easy source of energy for externals is to go like this, right? Internals is to focus inside, right? Yeah, especially the eyes up will help you, right? And where is your observer? Another source of easy energy is to do some SRI, right? Anybody do SRI and feel more energy? Yeah, but this requires you to take responsibility for who you are in your life and your energy state, okay? What do you think I do when I go home?
Meditate.
Hell no.
This one's
The reason I say that is because for me, meditation is like painful. I do meditate, but I do it with yoga because if you haven't noticed, I'm a movement kind of gal. So I put all my focus on the movement. When I try to sit, it's not. There are so many different ways to meditate. So in some ways, I do meditate. Yeah. So Symptoms are an invitation to the extraordinary. How many of you want more extraordinary in your life? I only saw 2 hands go up and 2 half hands. Do you really want it? Seriously. So Donnie, our teacher, says, how much tolerance do you have for extraordinary? We got lots of tolerance for ordinary, and we have lots of tolerance for it. Isn't that sad that I can even say that? Is it true? As a culture, as a people, even looking at our own life? Extraordinary means you're shining. And shining can be scary, right? But living a life unfulfilled is way more scarier. Living a life where you don't give your authentic gifts, way more scarier. And each one of you has come here with specific gifts that only you can give, right? So if you don't give them, someone's going to suffer. And that's not okay. Oh, I forgot about that. Wow, it's been a while since I did this. Okay, what time is it?
7:50.
7:50. What time did we even start? 6:30? So does that mean it's 7:50? Okay. Time challenged. Okay. Who wants to see a demo of level 2 and then we'll be finished?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, let's demo on you. First person to speak. Okay. Gets another entrainment. And
All
literally
right.
you could come. Awesome. Because it's really good to see. And don't worry about that. We'll just